Want to play some pool?
Who, me?
It's Bank Shot, an electronic pool game. You can queue up and shoot. For a break.
Wow!
You can plan cushion shots.
It went in!
Right. With Bank Shot, you can play straight pool, poison pool, and set up trick shots.
Tricky! Want to play some pool?
6 penlight batteries not included. Bank Shot, an electronic pool game new from Parker Brothers.
Let your feelings show wherever you go.
If you can put your feelings into words, Spidell has the perfect place to put them. A Spidell iDent bracelet. It shows that special someone how you really feel.
Let your feelings show wherever you go.
Put your feelings into words on a Spidell iDent.
Alfie, the L's are gone from our alphabet.
Must be Nasty McEvil. Let's get him. Post-alphabet cereal. Part of this nutritious breakfast. It's doggone good.
Now you can play with 2 new Alfie rescue scenes with alphabet stickers.
Look, Nasty's filling the M. No, I won't. Here comes Alfie. Ribbit.
One set of stickers in each specially marked box of post-alphabet cereal.
It's Uncle Remus telling it as it is about all those wonderful critters. Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, Brer Bear.
Hey, there ain't nothing in here except beans.
It's warm and alive with excitement. It's that zippity-doo-dah picture, Walt Disney's Song of the South, rated G.
Now playing at theaters and drive-ins everywhere. Check your newspaper for one near you. The Oregon State Beavers take on the Portland Pilots Saturday at 7:30 on KPTV 12 Portland.
Great American Furniture's Christmas sale is going on now, and we have a tremendous selection of great gift ideas. Like our biggest selection ever of top-quality catnapper recliners in vinyls, velvets, Herculons, and leather. Right now, you save 10 to 30% while our supply lasts. Or just for the fun of it, these versatile high-back scoop chairs only $39 each. Use our convenient credit plan and don't make your first payment till next year. That's Great American Furniture in Beaverton.
Now that you've had a drink, oh, what a time to think.
Wow, I could have had a V8.
You start the wheel, I'll shape the clay.
They made it.
They made it
With Pottery Craft. With Pottery Craft.
with the Pottery Craft Potter's Wheel, batteries not included. You can spin pots, mugs, and dishes. Next day, when they're dry, you can decorate them the way you like.
They made it. They made it.
Hey, that looks great.
With Pottery Craft.
The Pottery Craft Potter's Wheel, with everything you need to make air-dried pottery. By Gabriel.
A lot of the people who come to the Schick Centers for the Control of Smoking have tried to quit on their own.
I tried to quit a lot of times on my own, and it just didn't work.
When I tried quitting on my own, there was always a reason to just take one more.
I was not successful.
And then they went to Schick.
I knew Monday, the first day that I went to the Schick Center, that it was going to work.
I knew after the second day of therapy.
After going to Schick, I lost all urge to smoke.
In Portland, call 288-5911.
What a blue ribbon day.
Open a beer. What do you hear? Why, it sounds like Pabst. Listen here.
Pabst.
Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. Pabst is the beer that speaks for itself. It speaks with authority. It says, well done, now have a beer. It speaks of fellowship and good cheer. It says it in one word, listen here.
Pabst.
Blue Ribbon Beer.
Pabst speaks for itself. It says, well done, here's your refreshing reward. For all your blue ribbon moments, make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. Pabst Blue Ribbon, so much better for so little more.
Get the Pabst Smear.
What up, cyberspace internet, cyber fam, and fanbots galore? Welcome to Twitch, because Susan Wojcicki is a huge, insufferable bitch. That's right. I'm in the Sulog once again. And so that brings the ice cream interview today, Sunday, like I said earlier, to Twitch, D-Live, Trovo, and apparently Facebook is acting stupid too. So anywho, I'm in this to win it. Just saying. People call, all right, so the reason I call this thing ice cream, I forgot where I was, is most people see a good conversation as being a treat, like I do. And also ice cream is a treat. So I conflated the two and said, hey, let's call the show ice cream. And the rest is history. All right, now today's guest is really a special guest, man, because I've known this guy for a long time. Ever since, he was one of the first people I ran into, when I started streaming here, on the interwebs. It's really, I've never had a long sit down because we've been in, a lot of streams together. We did that thing the show with Red, what was the name of that, Devil's Advocate thing or something like that. That was a fun show. But anyway, hey, Bubonic, put down the bong and join us.
All right, cool. Hey, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, Becca. Hi, Dumbbeard. Hi, Dr. Functional.
That's
Hello,
right.
Twitch and Trovo.
And D-Live.
I've never been on either one of these before. D-Live, I have been, but I am very anti-China, so I won't use it.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
I'm very anti-China, so.
Well,
I'm jealous. I'm anti-China for the reason no one else is. I'm jealous because they're like building an empire, and I'm like, oh, you communist sons of bitches, man, you're beating us to it. Like,
we trick you into undoing your empire while we build one
under
you.
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
exactly. Like their gains in East Africa are just amazing. But anyway, that's not why we're here.
No, it is why we're here, dude. It's this kind of talk. This is the show where we kick back and we just, we see where it goes. I do have questions, I've got a standard biographical kind of thing, I go through with everybody here. And you are going to be no different. I do have, some questions and stuff. Let's go ahead and move into the doggy and cat room. Where it's a little more mellow. And the dulcet tunes of Philip Daniel are playing in the background. The haunted piano. Yeah, it's good.
Comfy. I like the Mandelbrot in the back, man. That's nice, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a math nut, and I had enough math in college to get a minor automatically.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Yeah, I had to do matrix analysis. We had to do partial differential equations, like an entire class just on that.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, there's a lot of math. A lot of math and physics. That's all physics is.
Okay.
Word problems.
So are you a professional physicist?
No, sir. I am actually I'm a big giant loser. I am really good at getting really close to shit and doing really well and then just fucking it up with something totally unrelated. Getting married and then divorced in the middle of my senior year of college. And now I'm like a field camp and a class away from my bachelor's of science in geology and bachelor's of arts in physics, which goes towards a master's in geophysics. Gotcha. I can read the squiggly lines when they drill for oil or drill for anything, and they send those tools down to those real high-tech tools down. I can actually read the squiggly lines off of that. That's what I went to school for. I'm not a great rock hound. I'm pretty good at geology, but
Gotcha.
I have a lot of respect for people who are out there rock hounding and doing, who can look at the core samples going out and read that. I'm not like that. Bunch of math nerds.
Right. All right. So I usually open the questions. All right. The questions that I have, we start at YouTube, and then at the end of the questions I have, we'll be back at YouTube. All right, and I've got some special shit dolled up.
Okay.
You know, not you know, nothing surprising and shit. Just some kind of fun shit. I figured, you know, it's like, well, I've got this standard set of questions, and I think I need to do something kind of mix it up. So I'm going to try to freshen everything. But
Cool.
I mean, that's where we're at. 141 interviews with some awesome motherfuckers, and you're today's awesome motherfucker. So
thank you, man.
Yeah.
I like being an awesome motherfucker. I don't get a chance.
That's right, dude. Exactly.
Usually, everything just feels kind of like a mundane motherfucker. You know? Like,
we can say whatever we want to on Twitch, except the N word.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do because I have a feeling like my YouTube days are numbered by their choice.
Well, Odyssey, okay, that's going to be an option. I think Rumble's developing. I can tell. You can tell both Odyssey and Rumble are developing. They're trying to roll into streaming. So, as a matter of fact, Odyssey is doing beta streaming for some people.
So you have to, you got to sit at the cool kids table at YouTube to be able to get in on that still, right?
At YouTube, I don't know, man.
You know, how are they? Can you just like
Odyssey?
test for that and apply for it, or
maybe it's like
cool.
I need to just apply for it and see what happens, because that would be really cool. You know, he said, "Becca, you feeling froggy?" Boy, she was feeling froggy last night. I'm just saying. All right, go ahead.
They got so drunk, I woke up with a hangover this morning. I swear to God, and I didn't even drink. I woke up with like the worst headache, dude.
That was crazy last night, man, wasn't it?
Oh my God, yeah, that was fun.
All kinds of just weirdness is happening everywhere. That's also. So all right. So my first question that I always ask anybody is like, how long have you been hanging around YouTube, and what was the main reason you decided to start putting out content yourself?
Oh man, this is going to sound so gay, because everyone, including myself, makes fun of these people. But I actually got started in YouTube making anonymous videos. I was under a different name, Jack Hand, when I was working with a collective, and I was doing research and writing scripts. And then all those people either like, you know that story, they all either die, go to jail, or just disappear. And you're just left the last one. And so I had to start making the shit myself. Did that for a little while, but that wasn't really what I wanted to do. That was just like kind of finishing up unfinished business. It was a local documentary I was working on, shit like that. And then I just started goofing off from there and just trying to break away from that, because I never wanted to be an activist. There's just some things that, like, I just felt like I compelled to do something about. So,
so
we had.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, so in the beginning, like with TechemSec, we had an issue here locally where it was, we had, in 5 years, we had a police force of 25, city of 23,000. And in 5 years, 5 different officers were under very serious investigation, some of them charged for sex crimes. One of them was, there was only one of them convicted. It was because he was fucking a 13-year-old or 14-year-old or something like that. He did 2 years. But it was like in the same amount of time, we had 5 women come up missing and showing up dead. And then, then it turns out that the police informants, paid informants, are in the middle of this. And, we say sanctioned drug dealing because, corruption just corrupts.
Right.
And so it really kind of went around that, was based around that. And just kind of like, I don't know, we got legislation shelved off they tried to create a triad committee for censorship, literally, with jailable and finable offenses in my city after the Pulse shooting. And they tried to use the Pulse shooting literally to push this legislation to basically make me illegal.
The Pulse nightclub shooting.
Yeah. And we're a really tolerant city. We were part of the Underground Railroad. Where I live was the capital of the Northwest Territory. So
Right.
A lot of fucking history here. When we became a state, it was my city and our representatives that fought to make it a no-slave state. and we ended up being the first capital over that issue. Our state seal, like if you look at the Ohio State seal, that's like, I don't know, 15 minutes from my house. We go up there and get high and look out. But yeah, so that's what got me on YouTube, but I'm a troll. And even then, like I was just a troll for hackers because you got skills at different things. But like I said, just everyone I ended up being by myself. So I just revolted back to what I do and just, making fun of shit on the internet and having fun in the morning. The morning word was actually from doing pedo hunting all night long. And then the morning word was how I was blowing off steam. So every time you see a morning word episode, I think I'm at 150 episodes. That was 150 nights that I spent on that hunt. I can talk and just describe it. I'll probably start crying and everyone called me a pussy. But like right now, I'm working on Not Pedo Cop, the second. Between 2010 and 2016, I documented 1,200 cops that had been arrested for child sex crimes.
Holy shit.
After I did so, and then I started threatening the press because they wouldn't show the cop's face. And so I started threatening the press that it was either going to be their face or the cop's face on the posters. Then the news, they just locked everything down and they didn't report anything for a couple of years. And now it's opened back up.
Right. And it's funny how that shit, happens. It's like the guy that shot Ashley Babbitt. We don't know who the fuck that was.
Yeah. Well, there's
and we never will.
Yeah. It's written into their own, rules of how, like in Florida, you can't get information on a cop no matter what he's done. Also in Florida, they don't report, and I got the cops to admit this, like this was in my prime of doing activism, got the cops. There's a video called Operation BCH, Bring Christina Home. There was a girl that had run away from a foster home, and the dad was trying to get a Amber Alert addressed for her, and the state refused to do it. And then I got the cops to admit that the state doesn't put out alerts for foster care kids because it makes their agencies, it's just bad for the agencies. It's bad. It's a bad look. So any, now that also happens to be, Florida happens to be like a porn, and I'm going to start sounding like a Puritan here, but it happens to be a porn capital in America. And there's a lot of there's a cycle building there from foster care to, I forget what the stat was. It is a high percentage. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, 25% of sex slaves came from foster care.
Holy shit.
They are not reported when they show up missing.
That kind of makes sense.
Now, we got that girl home that day, and that's why I made that video, because I've seen a lot that doesn't, a lot of dead ends.
All right. What about your opinion of the whole QAnon thing and how that came down and how it was portrayed?
It seems glowy to me. Just by its own admissions, it's glowy because they like to show like, hey, I'm an insider here. Yeah. Well, then you're a glow nigger. And sorry, I know I wasn't supposed to say that.
That's fine. You can say glow nigger. Okay. That's not nigger. It's just glow nigger.
Right. I'm trying to behave here. I'm really trying. It's like, so anyway. That all seems like. Have you ever heard of Operation Trust? And it was a thing in the early Bolsheviks and communist Soviet Union and communist Russia, where they did this thing where it was just this is literally the same narrative. Trust the plan. Oh, we're going to let them have this office because then we can catch them doing this or that, and it just led on and on to just more people just being sedated. And I think that's what QAnon's done, is giving people something to chase their tails with while they're also being sedated and still trusting the same people who they're claiming to not trust, essentially.
And what I saw, it was, it attracts people that actually, if they were focused on, what the real problem is, it doesn't matter, that what elites do on private islands and shit. It's what they're doing in Washington.
Yeah.
And then that's all. I agree. I think that's all designed to draw attention away from that, so the populace stays passive.
You know what seems really funny to me is because the same people who are attracted to the Da Vinci Code are attracted to to QAnon. It's the same fucking people. It's the same. So, you know, I don't know. Not impressed. It's a great LARP. I mean, great LARP. And, you know, Trump was our troll in chief. That's what I loved about him the most. But yeah, not really. Nothing ever became of it. Like there wasn't anything. It's a very Nostradamus-y, anything they were right about. Like anyone, shit, Styx Hexenhammer was is right. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just all that is. It's a LARP. A LARP and a fishing basket.
Yeah. I think it was a way to also, you know, classify people, identify.
Yeah, think about how many people who are otherwise, if they'd have just kept their mouth shut and just done their homework, like you normally would on something you're interested in, how many of those people wouldn't be ostracized from social media now? And how much more potent their voice could be because they don't have this conspiracy theorist, you know, flat earther profile laid upon them.
Right.
Because they're getting bunched in right there with them. You know, poll on 4chan, that's a containment board. The whole reason they built that was just to contain everything into that. And QAnon and flat earthers and for the large part, your fundamentalist anti-vaxxers, you know what I mean? The ones that just like, because there's something going on beyond just that. That's just like you're shouting. That's all gets just bunched socially into one little basket and then discarded. And that's what I think of that.
Some people call them deplorables.
Sure.
So all right.
Well, the QAnon, I think the QAnon though is something different than the deplorables, so because the deplorables was more MAGA related, and
right. Well, the QAnon thing is
and
more
the QAnon is like
middle class and upper middle class people were were attracted to that. So my sister was one of them, man. Really weird. Yeah, the Coop thing red pilled the shit out of my sister. You know. But I would, you know, keep telling her, look, this is probably, you know, a glowy situation, and I, you know, explain to her what it, you know, how they, you know, use controlled op and shit like that through, you know, through operations like that. So,
well, you know, when you have mandates for something that on the package says is not effective against the prevention of COVID, but yet you have to wear it because of COVID. That should tell you just in itself that something's fishy.
Well, and this dawned on me last night or the night before last. It was like the same guy that's telling you that, and that, you know, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. He's the one that told people that if they had HIV, they could fuck with the rubber on and French kiss.
Yeah, same guy,
same fucker. So I'm just saying.
You know, Shadowcat's a great source of information, and he brought me that the name Fauci is Sicilian for sickle.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, wow, really?
Wow. You want to get deep on some, man, you can fuck some people up with that.
Yeah.
Like the side. Well, there's the communist,
there's
the communist angle on it, and then there's the Grim Reaper angle on it, right?
Well, you know, who's pushing this really? Like Bill Gates, a known eugenicist. So well-known eugenicist, he had to get up on a stage and be like, well, my dad was the president of Planned Parenthood, and I was and raised as a eugenicist, but I don't believe that anymore. And then he goes off and just says does a bunch of eugenicist shit, but that's who's behind this.
Well,
he smiles every time you talk COVID. The only guy you ever see smile like giddy every time you talk COVID is Bill Gates.
Right.
Yeah. And my father adores him, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah. Well, you know, man, people, you know, cult of personality. It is what it is. All right. So kind of talking more about the YouTube thing. Here's a question I got for you. Where did the milk and cookies thing come from?
Milk and cookies is okay. Milk and cookies is my number one thing on YouTube. I should have said this from the start. Has been, always will be censorship, fighting censorship. And so if you remember way back in the day, okay, when white supremacy first started, and they were coming out of like, because Ghastly really started in gaming streams, and that's where I met him, was when he was doing his gaming streams and just starting to mess with the whole animation shit. But they were doing the little titty shows and shit, and people were getting struck. And so we figured out, I just did an experiment on a stream in the Morning Word of how long could you flash titties before the algorithm, all hail Blue Whale, John, before the algorithm would pick up on it. And as long as you know, the amount of time it takes to say milk and cookies, it became ass and titties. And so then we got the algorithm.
Get it? Milk, titties, I get it. No.
Okay, so we got that. So I was literally flashing like raw breast. That was Google raw breast, and then like ass pics, like doing that. And I was doing it to the tune of the fairy theme from Zelda. And I mean, we had all kinds of, we had a rap for it and everything, man.
That's funny as shit.
So the goal was to train the algorithm to start flagging milk and cookies. And then the algorithm, and if you heard about like when they was talking about like, this thing's going to get out of control and just normie people shit. Well, that's kind of part of the reason why, is because I was training the algorithm. So all these like mom cooking shows and shit, they started getting fucking flagged and shit. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's what that's about, is ass and titties. And that was a thing for a while until we broke the algorithm of it, and we got them to start flagging, auto flagging cooking shows and just whatever.
That was like a deep ass op, dude. I didn't realize it was so much to it,
That's how I roll, bro. That's why hackers love me, because I'm in for the long haul on shit, and like I really think things out and like really, really work it out. And like a lot of people just, the problem with a lot of people I find is it's a matter of attention span.
Right.
That's why I stay away from anything like TikTok or anything. I don't get caught up in that, because that automatically shortens your attention span. That's what it's programmed for. So
agreed. Let me address the chat real quick. All right, chat. All right, if you have any questions for Bubonic, all right, when we're getting towards the end of the show, there's a period where I'll get you guys to throw your questions in. So if you have any, just jot them down on some paper. Be organized like I try to be. I'm full of shit when I say that. But I want to say hey to Prince, username too long. I don't know who you are, but hey, welcome aboard.
Prince is one of our boys from the Word clan. Like he's a good boy, man.
Good
Prince
deal.
Good boy. Hey,
welcome aboard, man. Johnny Bon Sacco. When I say Johnny Bon, you say Sacco. Johnny Bon.
Sacco.
That's right. All right. He hates it when I do that. Dumbbeard. What's up, man? Great. The better half, the better half, known as Shagan, is somewhere around here. I thought I saw her around.
That's my co-host, Chairgon Chan.
She's awesome.
You know how she gets the name Chairgon Chan?
No.
Yeah, she will swipe that fucking seat, man. She actually swiped fucking Dumbbeard. Was on the way I met Dumbbeard was from the Insomnus, and she had actually swiped his seat on the Insomnus one time, and it was during when they started shutting down restaurants and everything. And so Chi-Gon went to Chair-Gon because Dumbbeard's chair was gone. And then,
I get it now. That makes sense.
If you know about her and like, what she does, you'll look at her avatar and you'll notice it like, oh, wow, it applies to that too. And I didn't even know that at the time.
Yeah, she's pretty base too, man.
Yeah. I love Chair-Gon Chan. Absolutely love Chair-Gon Chan. I have actually something I want to do for Chair-Gon Chan and Dumbbeard that I need to like start getting with people on, because I think there's something we all should do. It would be cool.
Well, we'll talk about it after we're off the air.
Yeah. We can't talk about while they're on there because it's super secret.
Super secret. That's right.
Comfy. Shadow Cat.
Dr. Functional. I want to say hello to him. Object of Hate, of course. Greetings. Uzi Q, my better half, is over there in the corner, doing her thing, making sure. Yeah, it looks like I don't know what's going on with fucking Facebook. They can kiss my ass. It's really funny. The Chinese shit gets my anti-Chinese stuff gets yeeted on Facebook, and my Soviet stuff gets yeeted on fucking YouTube. Well, it's
we have a genocide show on Thursday nights, and
Yeah.
the only place I haven't been allowed to show genocides from is China.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It is. So
they've given two shits about anyone else.
well, you might want to do a thing on Nazino Island, man. That was pretty crazy. Battle Royale for real. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was a gulag. It was in 1933. They were just, if you didn't have your papers in Moscow on the street.
Island?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. I've seen that shit. That's some good shit.
It is.
I got
good.
that in my hip pocket for when I don't have any material, because we could always get at that.
No shit.
Yeah.
I screwed up with that. Let's see. Plutonium Boss, what's up, man? I like seeing these new names. Welcome aboard. If you want to follow, hey, man. If you want to subscribe, do it at your own risk. My content has been known as cringy and awesome at the same time, or crossing, as some people would say.
I like that V, my favorite Romanian, claims that he's a merchant of buyer's remorse.
Right. Oh, dude. Yeah, V, I was watching some of this stuff the other night. All right, so let's see. Moving along. All right, so this is we're getting a little biographical here. Biological. Again, can you tell me anyway? So is there a food from your childhood that you hated as a kid, but now as an adult you like it?
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut.
I come from, like, my dad's side of the family is all German. We have like a shield and all that bullshit and everything, and I did not like sauerkraut till my grandma died. And last time I was at Walt Disney World, the sauerkraut made me cry, and I've loved it ever since.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Sauerkraut, dude. I absolutely love that shit.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, it's like grandma.
Absolutely, man.
Well, so who would you say the most influential person was on your childhood? What kind of kid were you?
My stepdad.
Yeah.
My stepdad was, and this goes back to, like, you talk about it, we're Cold War babies. He was 20 years older than my mom, and they met in an orchestra pit. He was the conductor, and I think at the time she might have been playing violin or trombone. She was like a child prodigy type, like has been playing professionally since she was single digits.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Has
awesome.
a master's in liturgical theology, so in like music, like that shit. She was, I believe, the second person to do Handel's Messiah in its entirety last century. Like,
wow.
Project. My stepdad he was a combat engineer in the Army. He had the rifle thing with the braid, or with all of the shit on it. He was in the Army engineer unit that was left with the 1st Marine Division to hold off the Chinese when everyone pulled back.
Oh, in Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, he had turned down at the end of his career because he was also a musician, growing up with the private schools and band conducting and shit like that. And so his first wife had made him give up the commission to the Army's European band for Europe,
right,
to be the conductor of that, and that really impacted my life. Like, really, like, this was a Renaissance man, like, that we didn't see even in the 80s.
No doubt.
And like, spoke multiple languages, could just read music like it was a book, could conduct orchestras on just fresh music. He got me into Civil Air Patrol, which got me opened up, like, that made, I learned to land a plane before I learned to parallel park.
Oh, crazy, man.
Because I found crash planes.
Dude, I was in the CAP for like a year.
Yeah, I was, for the state of Ohio, I was the highest ranking non-commissioned officer and the only non-commissioned officer on the state wing. And I had an office at the Air National Guard base in Columbus at Rickenbacker.
All right, for people who don't know it, all right, so the Civil Air Patrol is like a civilian based it was designed for the Cold War. It's like, to be like a civil defense thing, to run like if something went down, you would get deployed, and you would fly and report what you were seeing, observational stuff, and identifying. But it was all like theoretical. That was CAP, man, and it was a great way to get middle class kids into want to fly.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they were all about taking kids up in the planes.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed at multiple Air Force bases in DC. I stayed a couple weeks in DC. Flew on 3 C-130s. I got to be, just because at my local airport we have like a local paper mills and shit, and so they run like their cargo shit in and out of there, and so we have a full runway strip, and so we had an F-16 from Wright-Patterson, because Wright-Patterson's just like 45 minutes away from it.
Oh, wow.
We had one of those have to do an emergency landing because of an oil issue on our strip, and I got to be the guy that guarded his ship, or guarded his plane, his jet. And then I got to start doing the guard shit for the planes at the air shows for that. And because, I knew that pilot, so he took me up in his, for watching his jet, I got to go up in an F-16 trainer. And then his buddies like seeing me, like, well, I'll take you up in this. And that's how my flight school scholarship worked out. And I still have, I still wear to this day my flight jacket. Like, if you've ever seen like the little patch for the special comfy squad on the secret comfy spec, I've got a jacket like that. I still this day fucking.
That's cool.
That's my biggest disappointment in life, is not flying.
Oh, no doubt, dude. I guess, did you grow up wanting to be an astronaut? Was that part of it? No? Okay. I did.
I wanted to be an SR pilot, SR-71 pilot.
Oh, okay. Man. Yeah. Get chased by MiG-25s.
Yeah, but you just outrun everything. It's fine.
Exactly. You can, Even the MiG-25 couldn't catch it. That's right, dude.
That was their answer to everything. Just go faster. Okay.
Higher and faster, man.
Just go faster and higher. Don't worry. You're back. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, be token. Yeah, I'm still in the Sulog, and hopefully we'll be out tomorrow afternoon. All right, so all right, Bubonic, do you have any favorite holiday or season, time of year that holds special meanings for you?
I absolutely love Christmas and the whole Christmas spirit and the holidays and shit. In a dark period of my life, like when I was doing my hunting and shit, Christmas music for 2 years straight, just to keep my sanity. Just from chasing down, because one of the networks we shut down was 90-some thousand, and they had to hold on. There was 2 G20 representatives from the G20 conference.
Holy shit! Involved.
So that kind of shit really, I do shit that causes me to take weeks before I want to get out of bed. Like Shadowcat has to literally look over me and be like, "You all right, bro? You want to go for a walk?" Because I just, that shit's dark, man. Shit's dark, very, very, very dark.
So are you from a big family, or?
Yeah, very big. Catholic all the way around. My stepdad had 5 kids before, from a previous marriage. My mom, we had 5 boys in my house, and my father and my stepmom had 2 kids of their own. So I grew up with 7 brothers and 4 sisters, because we didn't play the step or half game. It's family's family. It was yeah, that's right, 7 and 4.
Man, so that's
huge family.
So I guess so Christmas. Well, all right, so I was raised Catholic too. Did you ever do the midnight mass thing?
Oh yeah. My mom is the music director at our church, so I grew up doing being the altar boy for everyone who didn't show up. It was cool because I got pulled out of school to do a lot of funerals and shit. A lot of funerals, and I was getting paid for that. Getting paid to get out of school and just stand around and stand. Okay, Here, hand this football.
Now
off to this guy.
now they're letting girls do it and shit. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's crazy. We were letting them. They were letting them. They started that shit. That's a result of the hippies, man. Because they was doing that shit. They was doing that shit in the 80s. But the girls are all so little and shit, and so like they couldn't hold the cross and be up front because they tried that, but then the cross would be too low and the priest would get mad because that's supposed to be like whoever your senior altar boy is doing that. It's hold it up high. So it's crazy. I just think they should just let priests get married and just get back to that.
Well, all right. So the Father Ed Meeks thing that's in my Discord server thing that you were talking about, he is a married priest. All right.
Oh, nice.
Listen to this shit. All right. So Ratzinger, the guy that got ousted to put in King Kami. All right.
Oh my God! Right.
All right. So he opened up the church. He opened up the church to Anglican priests and parishes, right? Whether the person was married or not. That dude is married. Father Meeks is married, and his whole congregation converted because the Anglican or the Episcopal Church, as it's known, was getting way too liberal.
Yeah.
So
that was the first major to go, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. With women and hey, look, I'm not judging or anything, but that's how they broke the ice. That's how they broke it through. So, but yeah, they were undermined, and and now the Catholic Church is being undermined by by the Pope and shit.
Absolutely subverted.
Yeah. And it's sad, because I had respect, man.
Well, I'm a 4th degree Knight of Columbus, and that's something I take very fucking seriously. And I've been shoulder tapped, and that's why I chase pedos and shit like that. And that's why I got this penance I got to serve from what I did in the fucking Marine Corps and shit. Because whether it's for your flag or not, you hurt people, you got to help people. So, the fact that the Vatican's yearbook has removed the Vicar of Christ and has let go of that position really kind of frees a lot of people up that don't have to be absolutely tied to the Vatican because of that.
Right.
And that's one of those really simple, small things that most people, to the people it doesn't mean anything to, it doesn't mean anything to. But to the people it means something to, that's really telling, and that's really, I hate using their word, problematic, because it just is.
Well, and people don't understand the importance that John Paul was instrumental in helping bring down the Soviet Union. With the whole
the fact that we've got a Jesuit communist, in the Vatican who immediately gives up the Vicar of Christ.
Yeah.
Whoa, what the fuck is going on? So
yeah, it's sad.
Like I did my Lenten rice bowl. I did all, went to my whole, the Holy Mass, but I've kind of stepped away from it, and it's really sad. It's really sad.
It is, man.
I want them to do the right thing. I want them to. And that's what I liked about him. I was like, holy shit, man. Because what we've got is just, it's just, disappointing.
All right, so what we go ahead.
Growing up, my priest, he was he ended up being a Monsignor, and he was from northern Italy, from a papal state.
Oh wow!
And his family owned vineyards, and his family has provided a priest to the church for 1,000 years. That kind of fucking thing, and that's what I was raised on. Even where we're talking, Vatican II's fishy.
You're right. Yeah. I don't know about this English thing, man.
When as plague doctoring, whenever I see a patient off to the grave and one of the cancer patients dies, I have his chair as the dead man's chair, just for that. So, I take my shit pretty fucking serious, but I'm not
you're not Opus Dei, right?
I'm not going to no, and I'm not going to fuck those. Oh God, Opus Dei. This guy's that's as bad as the Fatima fags.
Yeah.
Whatever. Nah. But
But I totally agree with you about working with people and giving back. You know, I'm a sober alcoholic, and I've helped a ton of alcoholics.
Right. That's what you do to heal.
Even when I got out of counseling. So, yeah, exactly. Because that's when the real work began, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Right. So let's all right, elementary and middle school. So what was that like for you?
That was crazy because like my grandparents on my mom's side were like founding members of the NAACP. And so I went to preschool and kindergarten at this place that's like this community center, and me and my older brother and this one other white kid, and it was all black kids. And like I didn't understand what the word nigger was until, or ever even hear it. Like it just wasn't anything until the third grade, like when my mom and who I called my dad, my mom and dad got married, and I started going to Catholic schools. And like I gone to like, the Central, it was literally called Central School because it was like right there where the fucking ghetto is and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so the kids were saying that like I came from the nigger school. And so I actually literally raised my hand and asked the teacher, and this is like 2 hours into like my first day in school, and asked her what a nigger school is. Because I just, I'm naive. I don't fucking know this shit. I've pretty much, grown up in a church, basically, and community centers and shit like that.
Well, how about, all right, so, I don't know. All right, I grew up as a...
my ass.
Well, it's interesting.
She whipped my ass right there on the spot.
Because I was a real gullible kid. It's like, because it's like, honesty is the best policy, all that shit. It's like I had internalized that. I didn't realize people would lie to you, out of spite, and that, we're at that kind of that meat, right? And whenever that word was uttered in the house, I knew, there was a part of me that said that that's not a good thing, and there was a part of me that goes, why is that not a good thing? Yeah, but yeah, I grew up in the South, and
Now the crazy thing is about that dynamic was, my grandparents were the largest property owners in the ghetto, like what you would call slumlords. And he was a Democrat, and he was on like, we're talking shit like he was on the board of trustees everywhere. He was a 4th degree knight. Well, I'm a 4th degree knight. It's a legacy thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the zoning board while writing the zoning board to not violate his own zoning board, and then sidestepping that. And that's, how ghetto properties work and shit. And so I was never like bought onto the liberal thing because I was like raised in a political family where shit's whole different on one side of a fence than it is the other. And I got to see both sides from the start. And so, I'm like, well, that's plainly, it's weird because he was an international union rep. And, like the AFL-CIO board came to his retirement party, like at that level. He used to go in and set up unions in factories, like, and go in. That and all that I come later on to learn. That's all subversion. Like when I was in those elementary schools, and the reason I went to Catholic schools and shit like that, I kept getting fights. And those other ones, it was because I just thought you could get in fights with other kids. I wasn't thinking about, well, these are my grandparents just evicted his aunt. Like I'm not thinking that's why I'm having to learn to fight in the 1st and 2nd grade, and why the principal was not whipping these other kids.
So you got transferred to Catholic school?
Yes, and then I went to Catholic schools, and which is where my mom had gone. We just I don't know why we hadn't gone there because of this whole social, the 70s. Like I was born in 75, so the whole 70s and meshing everything. See, everyone's just like it just
I remember
I don't know, big liberal experiment or something that's just really a workaround for politics.
Yeah, well, the whole busing thing I think was a ruse to start dumbing down kids.
Yeah. Well, you're seeing it now where they're forcing these kids into schools that are in the suburbs and starting
Right.
to spread them out. And
Well,
then
right, and they're saying, well, we have to lower our expectations. So
yeah, they got to lower their expectations, and then they end up just giving up on the classes altogether. Their
Right.
school's giving up their RAP programs now.
people can't.
Because they don't need, everything's automated. You need dumber workers now. That's all. Really, that's what the schools are: is work factories, worker factories.
Right. So what was it? What was the craziest thing you did as a kid?
Land an airplane. Like, I was very aware of the fact that, like, I'm like 15 and I'm landing a fucking plane.
That's
like,
crazy, dude.
That felt pretty fucking crazy. I guess, the first fight I got into, because my brother was like 3 years older than me and he was getting bullied at a park. And I ran up to this kid and bit him in the fucking leg and bit. But I was like 3 years old and my mom was 9 months pregnant. And it's like in the middle of summer. She's like trying to get off of this fucking park bench. And my older brother's just standing there getting water sprayed in his face. And I'm like a dog, like clenched on this kid's fucking calf. Like, just, I don't know. I don't, just crazy shit like that. Like, had a very, very, when you're doing like the Civil Air Patrol thing and you're doing shit like that, but you also grew up in like, grew up with, the ghetto. So, all their tricks and shit, and you're playing all those games as well. And life gets real fucking, it seemed like my childhood as an entirety sometimes looking back on it.
So when you like switched from that to Catholic school, how big of a gear shift was that?
Pretty big. Like, I was excited. It was like when I learned, like, how you're really excited into something being totally disappointment, like right away. That was getting whipped for the first time I said nigger.
Gotcha.
In school. I was really excited about this school. Like, my mom had like graduated from this school, like, and gone on to like, have this on a music scholarship and shit, straight A student. My older brother actually failed one of the grades because they just threw him into the AP grade because they assumed he was a genius like her, and he wasn't. And then, Catholic organizations aren't real good at being like, oops, we made a mistake. They'll let someone just fail. They'll let someone just fail as opposed to change those numbers, So yeah. But yeah, get my ass beat like that, that's I learned, real quick. And like growing up with my dad to where like I'm getting subscriptions at 12 years old for like The Economist and for Foreign Affairs, which is the Council on Foreign Relations publication, the Trilateral Commission's publication, shit like that. Like, it was crazy shit. Crazy shit was like, to me growing up, was like, he ended up being a delegate for Sister City trade agreements when the Soviet Union opened up between my city and Minsk. And so he made trips over there, and, they brought a delegation over, and that guy like fell in love with one of them. This guy, factory owner of a glass factory, like fell in love with me. Thought I was like, his kid over there, like that.
Neat.
So this dude fucking mailed me like cases of vodka, like, to enjoy for my senior year. Yeah. I mean, what's my dad supposed to be like? No.
Well, all right. So what about the first time you got fucked up?
Oh, well, see, I come from a German family, and so like my dad's side of the family, everyone's got beer taps in their fridge, and like I was born deaf, and they had to do like the whole tube surgery bullshit when I was like 5 before I started hearing, so I had to go through like speech therapy and all kinds of bullshit.
Oh, wow.
So when I was about 5 or 6, I was learning to talk because my first language was just like reading lips and body language and shit like that. And they thought I was retarded because they didn't pick up on I was deaf. I just wouldn't pay attention to you if I wasn't looking at you and just go on about my shit. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I asked my grandma if I could have, go hit because they used to like teach us when we were like 5 or 6 how to pour beer, and we'd, serve them their beer. And it's just not a big deal. We're Germans, And so I was that was my first time I chugged anything or anything like that was then. So by the time I was in high school, and like kids are catching up to me as far as how they can handle beer and shit like that. So, which makes it easy to just sell beer. Like, every kid should have a beer hustle growing up. I still swear to that.
Right.
how you make your beer.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do something. Whoops. Sorry, y'all. I just noticed that bubonic. There he is. Okay. Your avatar was not flashing on the screen when you're talking. So
You know what? I've been having that problem with OBS since like 2 updates ago.
Yeah. Well, you know how that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Right now I'm working off of one screen, so you got to like have everything up and juggling it for OBS to have it up on the. Because it's weird like that.
No doubt. I really need 3 screens. To make this shit work. Yeah, I feel you, man.
Yeah, I've got a separate like laptop that just to have the live chat on when I'm doing shit now, just to free that up. But I still have to have that up, otherwise, like I'm real bad about my live chat disappearing off my screen. Because if I don't have live chat on my screen, the live chat just beats me up. So they bullied me into always having live chat up. Like every show of mine's a live chat show. Because that's really like where most people knew me from early on, was just from hanging out in live chats.
Right. Let me check one thing. Yeah, the chat's not popping up either. It's like, what the fuck? Get your shit together. You know what I'm saying?
I've got Twitch open just because I've never been on Twitch as a voice, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, the delay is almost non-existent with Twitch. It's crazy.
Hey, Ash. There's Princess Tiny Feet.
Princess Tiny Feet.
And now I sound like Norm Macdonald from Ohio. Yeah, I'm from Ohio. I'm from South Central Ohio, actually. I'm originally from Cincinnati. And Cincinnati has its own accent all to its own. But where I live now is like the foothills of Appalachia.
Nice.
So
I love the mountains.
Yeah. I claim Appalachia. I went to college in Appalachia, did all of my, I learned geology through Appalachian dirt.
Nice. All right. So, what about the first time you you noticed chicks?
Probably the 2nd grade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just, you know what? That was the first time I saw a chick's skirt because we was on the playground,
mm-hmm.
and she was on like the handle. I don't know what happened because we used to have like the big domes. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The little things, and just being underneath that, and that was like my first crush, I guess. But
yeah, man, our playgrounds were far superior to the shit they've got now.
Yeah, the shit they got now, man. Like, you can't hurt nobody on that, man. What the fuck fun is that? Like, that's why you got kids growing up soft, man. You're not keeping score, and not keeping score.
In the 90s, they turned all these people into fucking germ freaks.
Mm-hmm.
with the fucking hand sanitizer and shit. Now,
yeah.
Of course, they've got the coop control.
Oh my God, stainless steel slides in the summer were the shit, man. Oh, burn your thighs. Dude, we have a really nice park, like, I don't know, a block away from where I live. A really nice park. And the playground there has had like that 2-tiered kind of slide where it's got like the tube slide that goes in a spiral. And it's got, I think it's 2 or 3 stories tall. It's 3 stories tall.
Lord.
Playground equipment. Yeah, it's 3 stories tall.
Holy shit.
There's a first level, and then I think there's a second level, and then I'm wanting to say that it even goes up one a little bit, but it's fucking huge. And we had like the thing where it's got like, it looks like a V, and it's a tire on each end, and you just sit on each one, and you make each tire go higher.
Right.
It's like some weird ass. We had crazy shit like that.
Well, it's weird because my playground at my school looked like a fucking a set from Planet of the Apes. I mean, it was this weird, kind of this
Right.
Art Nouveau kind of thing, with these. But yeah, it was really crazy. It was like a piece of melted Swiss cheese with all these holes in it and shit. It was.
I really lucked out because I grew up during like the bicentennial of the Northwest Territory and statehood and all that bullshit. So there was really like, and this is coming out of like the bicentennial of the country, and I grew up in the capital of that Northwest Territory and state and shit. And so they like all through junior high, we got all that kind of history. Like we're all about our state, all about that kind of shit. And so we were late in the game to getting a lot of that Art Nouveau and all that bullshit. Like that came like right at, it seems like I got through high school and then everything fucking changed. And I was like, whew, out just in time. But I lucked out in that, man. Because like I had that really wholesome early 90s and 80s shit going on.
Nice.
Like great town to grow up in.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say even our ghettos really weren't that bad.
So, all right. What was high school like?
High school, busy, really busy. Like I didn't get to select my classes. I got to negotiate them with my parents. So I had to take both French and Latin. Had to take all the engineering, all the math, all that bullshit. Plus, I had Silver Patrol. Plus, I played baseball. Plus, trying to have a life. And trying to throw parties on the weekend and just plus city, plus student council. Like I've got framed at my house, I've got a picture of me behind Bill Clinton. His first stop on his like presidential, I won the presidency, tour of America. Was a bunch of town hall meetings, and we were the first stop. And so I had to meet him and shit like that. And the front page picture of the paper, I'm like right behind him and everyone's all smiling. And like even then I was like, fuck all this shit. Like even then all my friends were like, oh yeah, he's like the most like legit right-wing conservative and not like what you think you know what I mean?
Right.
like growing up, like they just knew. So there's like me looking like with this, man, fuck this bullshit. Like, yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm gonna hold you account. You know what I mean? It's just great. I'm like so happy with that.
I feel your pain.
And it like when the president came to my city, it's on the front fucking page of it with me, like right there, center of it. Like, what the fuck? Whatever.
But it's really weird because I was a liberal a long time ago, and then I grew up and got a job and had to pay taxes, man. It's like, hey, I don't judge, whatever. But I think liberals are wrong.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to like one thing I heard growing up, a lot of because I was so conservative. I was like the only Republican on both sides of my family ever, and that was just always that way. And so they said that if you're young and conservative, you've got no heart, and if you're old and liberal, you've got no brain.
Yep, that's Churchill said that.
Yeah. So I got that thrown at me a lot for being just like anti everything, just whatever.
Is there somebody called Pornhop over there?
Pop and Hop. Pop and Hop. If you ever hear us all this word shit, okay, that comes from gaming. I'm actually the commander of a tanking clan in World of Tanks. And that clan was started because Pop and Hop's my best friend growing up, like since the 6th or 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
I started this gaming clan because he ended up being moved around in the country because of like, the family military obligations and shit and just moving, how that life is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started the clan to keep us close, and that's where really all that shit comes from is comfy friends, man. Like it's like branched out into so much shit and become so much more, and it's just been amazing to watch. But yeah, that just really came from me trying to keep my childhood chum close.
What game is that?
World of Tanks.
World of Tanks. Well, yeah, everybody's telling me I need to play it, and to be fair, tanks are one thing I know about.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Dude.
So I love that
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah, get a hold of me sometime and we can just hang out on fucking Discord, and I can just stream it to you there and check it out, because I've got like 33 tier 10s. Like, I've just got a massive amount of vehicles, like top tier shit, like people like.
Well, yeah, no, but that's a Russian game, so you got to have the Russian tanks.
Actually, from Belarus, which is
Yeah.
where my pops did business with. And that
Yeah.
is not Russia. They are their own people, and they will
Yeah.
tell you. They're very clear in telling you that. But
But still, they exalt the T-34 and all that shit. I got a big bone to pick with that. Because you have to have a Russian tank to win, man. Is what I've noticed. So
yeah. No, no. They've really kind of balanced that out. Now the
Good.
Russian tank, that was how it used to. It was like that for a while. Really, if you look at the long term of it, it's all about money. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's all about marketing and shit. And what you see is that as tanks become relevant within their money making scheme, they're buffed, and then as they're plateaued out, they'll be then nerfed. And you'll see that with their premiums. You'll see that with, we're coming out with this new line, and the new line will be just bad as shit. And then, a couple years later, they're ready with a whole new nation in line. So they'll nerf that one just to make that line kind of give it a preference.
Right.
But there's a joke about it, and yes, all the Russian shit is very strong.
Yeah.
It's also, all of it has very, very tough weaknesses that you have to deal with. Like, I'm not very good in them, because they don't have gun depression, and so you can't be like looking over hills without really exposing some shit,
right?
Up the side, or
right.
But yeah, I've got all the big boys and shit. So
yeah.
But yeah, we've been playing that. I was actually an alpha tester for them for World of Warships, and I was the #1 in in the original version of World of Warplanes. It was a flight simulator. Now it's an arcade. But in the simulator, I was #1 in one of their jets, in the Tier 8 jet, globally #1.
Nifty. Well, yeah, and there's two things I know quite a bit about, and I've read quite a bit about, and that's tanks of World War II and the P-47.
Yeah, dude, you gotta look. You just join Word Clan. We'll work you up through the grind, through the early shit, man.
Okay, cool.
That'd be cool, yeah. Because we're a social clan at this point. Like, I was, what I did was I was getting paid by clans. They have a global map, and you'd fight for different little, it's like playing Risk. And you get gold, which is the end currency that you pay for cash. And so I was getting paid for that. Like, I didn't have to pay for my premium for like 3 years, which is like $15 a month or something like that. That I was getting just given to just play for certain people. But man, that gets real old real quick. Like that competitive level really gets old quick, and so it just became, we were a social clan. We've never been into like a mainline battle where we weren't like, we had half as many tanks as them, and all of our tanks were weaker than theirs. So it was, and we changed the game. We literally changed the way that the premium game, the clan maps played now, because now they play it in tiers, because we proved that point with them. The history of our gaming clan was, as that was done at the suggestion of, at the time, I think it was the #2 player in the world. But we basically acted as a diversion force that would just eat up people's resources, because they had to fight us. Like, they had to defend us. They had to defend this landing zone, and we were there, and we were bringing enough and getting enough kills and shit that they had to take that serious, and that cost them. And, they can't have players at same, because they'd have like 3 or 4 battles going on at once. So if you didn't have 45 players on, because it's 15 on 15, if you don't have 45 players on in one of those battles, you're under. And so yeah, now they have it where you can't do that. So
well, I guess keep rolling.
You Reddit. Fuck you, Reddit, and fuck you, Relic.
Reddit, man.
Fuck all Reddit clans. Fuck all Relic clans. All right, that's I'm obligated in my clan status in saying that. Sorry.
Or what about? All right, so what was the first concert you ever went to? And what, like, rock wise?
Rock wise.
But I would imagine your mom would be one of the first concerts you ever went to.
Yeah. See, because like, I'm trying to think. Like the first big one was probably Metallica and Guns N' Roses, and
Mm.
GNR was Drunk as Fuck, and it really kind of killed me for Guns N' Roses, and
Yeah.
it was right after it was would have been Justice for All period. So, and I had
Nice.
followed Metallica. Like my brother was 3 years older than me and just fed me all the music.
That was a tour Cliff got
I
killed
was
on.
just
Yeah.
So that one, I think the first concert I went to with my mom was Crosby, Stills and Nash. I'm wanting to say that I've been to a lot of shit. Like I went to a lot of operas and shit like that growing up. Like I went to Fiddler on the Roof, fucking on the flu, and refused to go home because I just wanted to finish the opera. Like,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
if you grow up understanding it, it's different. Like I get why people a little bit of opera goes a long way for a lot of people, but like I've got it playing full time in my lap.
nice.
So.
It's good stuff. I really love complex stuff to have playing in the background when I'm, trying to work up stuff. It's I don't know, it helps me.
One thing is it's a lot of focused work back there, and it's a lot of redundancies and shit like that, and doing shit over and over again. And in order to stay focused, I can't listen to anyone talk. And one thing about opera is I don't understand what the fuck they're saying. I just love their voice.
Right. See, I'm the same exact way. I've got ADD real bad.
Yeah.
I have to turn everything off, and if it's music, it has to be instrumental.
Yeah, well, to me, opera is just like instrumental, but it's with voices, because I don't know what they're saying unless I know the opera. Like, there's some of them I know.
Yeah.
Like, I know what, that I'm familiar with, and so I can get what's going on. Like, I can tell the backstories of them. But a lot of the shit that I'll play back there is just I'll look for shit that I don't know, just because there's so much out there.
Absolutely.
I'll never run out of material like new, but be like, oh, no more fresh material, time to go. No, just not happening.
All right. So, what about relationships? What was that like?
Bad. I'm not good at relationships, really. Just not good at it.
Yeah. You ever been married? You got any kids? Anything like that?
Been married. Yeah, I've been married. Got kids. Yeah. I actually, it's like, the one kid I helped like raise, and the other one I don't even know. I've never been known. I've not even been around the mom since then.
Crazy.
So it's yeah, and it's weird because it's like there's a special kind of guilt that goes with that, and you never make that up. There's nothing that makes that up, and he's got his situation is the same as my situation was, where he's got a stepdad that's his dad now, and it's another man raising your kid, and I've raised another man's kid and done that, and really kind of currently do that, and one doesn't make up for the other, and one doesn't so when I say it's bad, it's not been like, I'm just not good with relationships. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I just,
No, that's fine.
What's weird about it is that, like, I still have like friendly relationships with almost all my exes, like, except for my ex-wife. My ex-wife did some really, really dirty shit, and there was like legal reasons. Like, I lived in Ohio, and at the time you could say that you felt threatened without even saying what anything was that threatened you, and then you have like a TPO that doesn't get lifted.
Lord.
And that was my situation.
Well, that was fucked up.
And by the time it's lifted, he's got a new stepdad, and she's just like, because she already had a kid before me and did the same thing, like what my kid happened with the previous kid. And she doing that with me, and now she's got it with the dad that works.
Yeah.
That all that works. I don't know. So, yeah, it's it is what it is. And at the same time, it was like I had to homeschool my one kid because he was just having just really hard time with school. Just even like accepting the authority of teachers and shit.
Right.
And I had to spend like 2 years just sitting behind, like literally, like it was like boot camp for 2 years, sitting behind this kid, doing his homeschooling and just getting him back on track. And he got back on track and everything. But you know, it was tough. It was a really tough journey. So, you know, and I think that's why, like, for one thing, like, I'm really appreciative of other people's successes in life on things, because my life's been really like this phenomenal, but just in this, and all the normal things, and all the, like, people are married and with kids and shit like that. I'm at all at it. And like, I'd run someone through with a sword, unironically. Don't even need to Minecraft it to defend that, just because it's been so fletching from me.
So let's shift gears a little bit and kind of get into aesthetics.
Okay.
So you were talking about anime earlier. So what's your favorite anime series, and who's your favorite anime character? Let's explore that a little bit.
My favorite shit, I love Samurai Champloo, love the Ghost in the Shell. All that shit from when, like, Adult Swim was in its like height.
Yeah.
So Cowboy Bebop. I just recently discovered what was it? Tanya the Evil. I think it was Psycho told me about. Man, that was a really good anime.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's about it's about a guy that, see, I raised my kid on Dragon Ball Z and you know, that kind of shit. My all-time favorite anime, really, though, is Princess Mononoke, which is a movie, actually.
Right.
If anyone's familiar with it, the American version of it's got like Billy Bob Thornton did the voice of the monk. My Jufu, Minnie Driver is one of the characters.
So many people say that Princess Mononoke, however you say it.
It's really like, just I like sleep to the Japanese version of it, and it just like the score is just phenomenal. The artwork behind it is phenomenal. Like, it's just every scene is hand drawn phenomenal.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
It was Japan's #1 grossing movie until he made another movie called Spirited Away, which, again, same deal. Like, it's just really like setting standards in anime.
So you said Tanya. What was that other word?
Tanya the Evil.
The Evil.
Yeah, it's a bureaucrat is killed on a subway, pushed off on the subway by someone he fires. Right, he's an HR guy. So he doesn't believe in God, and in order for God to get this guy to believe in him, he reincarnates him as a little girl, and it's basically a kind of like a what do they call that? It's basically like a unhistoric version of Germany without the Nazis, like if the Kaisers had just done right, kind of deal. You know what I mean?
All right.
So you've still got like that level of like, the late 19th century, and it's World War I-ish. So trench warfare and shit like that. And so, the Habsburgs, or not the Habsburgs, but you still have the Ottomans, that kind of, and they're called different things, but you pretty much understand what's going on.
Right.
So, like, it's funny because at the beginning of every episode, they're like, this has nothing to do with, they literally have to say it because it's so spot on of alternative version of it. But, it's, but yeah, that was really good.
Original Asherella says it's an anime about Tonya Harding.
Right?
That's funny.
Right? Yeah. That's funny shit.
That's, jeez, man. All right, what about horror or sci-fi films? You into?
Yeah, I love the Blade Runner 2049.
That was good.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like the best. And see, a lot of people like give it like I think there's like almost a cultish fan thing to it. That like when you bring up the fact that they had to fix the movie and re-release it to make it mean what you say it means, to make it fit into shit. as far as things go. There's this crazy almost controversy concerning that first movie. As far as I think they made how many different endings to it? 4.
Well, yeah, but in my opinion, it's the perfect science fiction movie. But that's for another.
Absolutely. Well, you can credit it, and there's something else that gets credited for whole cyberpunk, and that whole genre of comes from that.
Neuromancer. William Gibson.
But yeah, I mean, I really like. I was young when the first one came out, and they did a re-release of it in the 90s. I want to say I was in high school seeing or something, and so I didn't really. And I caught it in the theater. Was the first time I'd seen it.
That's the.
And I saw. I guess I didn't catch the. I guess that one's got the 2 clues that Deckard's is a scent.
Yeah.
And that was what they had added to the movies. And so, going into learning about, I didn't think about the movie, really. I might have watched it one more time after that, but it was just an interesting movie. It was very well filmed, just a good movie. I didn't think shit about it until they made that second one. And the second one's to me, it's just a perfect sequel. It's just about as perfectly well-written sequel you can do.
Really good. I totally agree with that. And I'm a big fan of the game, so I play that. I've been playing that lately.
I saw that you were playing it. I wanted to ask about that because, I've thought about playing it, man. I was like, man, that looks pretty fucking good.
Well, yeah, and there's a shitload of different ways you can play it, and there's 12 different endings. So yeah, and it's I'm probably going to try to explore all of them because it's so crazy and fun.
You know what game I'm really looking forward to coming out is Hellblade 2. Did you ever see Hellblade 1?
You know what? I've seen run-throughs with people playing it, man.
Yeah,
and the game is crazy. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun game. A really crazy good and fun game. Man.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's about a Viking chick or something.
Yeah, it's about a chick who gets she's a I think she's a Celtic or something, but she gets her boyfriend gets killed or her lover gets killed by Vikings, and so he goes to Viking hell, and so she goes to Viking hell to fetch her, but she's schizophrenic, so she's hearing all kinds of fucking voices and shit, right? And going to the netherworld to see Hela and to fight Hela.
Oh wow!
And so you play it with headphones on, and the voices, and they did the camera this is all done, all of her movement and everything was done and with 3D cameras with that kind of and the artwork they used archaeologists historians from that time and psychologists to help make this game. And so all the schizophrenic voices you'll hear them from different parts if you listen on headphones in stereo, from different parts of your head. Just how well they did it. And you're I just recommend playing it at night. It's a great late night game, man. Just really
it looks kind of creepy. Yeah, it does, man.
And it's just like a 1-through playthrough, which is fine. Not every game has to be everything.
Right.
And they did that very well. It's like a puzzle game. It's half puzzle, half fighting. The fighting's really not too bad. But it got held up by COVID, so I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, it's like life got held up by that shit. All right, so this is a point where I ask you, do you have any scars, tattoos, or piercings you want to talk about?
I have not pierced. I have maybe 11 tattoos, 10, 11 tattoos. I can wear a t-shirt and shorts and you never know.
Right.
It's mostly Marine Corps memorabilia. I've got multiple scars, and multiple scars. Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 blade scars, I guess you could call them that. And I've had a shotgun pellet in the calf.
Dude.
And I've had a knife through the thigh. And let's see what else. And I've had a table saw blow up on me and take off. Oh man, how'd that work? So my middle finger was in 16 pieces and got put back together. My ring finger, so the first bone coming out, that's gone. It's just obliterated. And that finger is pushed back, like, and so yeah, and it's one of those deals where, like, you know, the way I just use it and shit like that, then you wouldn't even really notice it most of the time, like that kind of deal. Like the plastic surgeon, I had a top-notch plastic surgeon. I lucked out because I you know, with the Marine Corps learned, and Civil Air Patrol learned combat first aid, and so only me, the surgeon, and my aftercare nurse, because was the only people who ever touched my hand, and I put my hand back together when it happened, and yeah, I lost 5 pounds of blood.
Wow.
Like, it looked like a murder scene here.
Crazy.
And I tried to walk to the fire station, and Shadowcat wouldn't let me.
So, all right, so the stabbings and stuff, what was that from combat or?
Yeah, one, the thigh thing was, I caught a knife to the thigh. That hurt. The one knife blade was just crazy bitch cut me. The other one was, you know, brothers playing with knives. Was a pretty bad one. I think one of them I just butterflied, and the other one I think I had 13 staples for. And it, like, if I put my arms together, they would make a cross on my forearms.
Oh, wow.
I got shot in the arm with like a 22 size, like high powered air, you know, like how, like air rifles for varmint hunting, that kind of thing. Not the cock and load, but I got one of those in my arm from where I got shot with that. And,
was that like from one of your brothers or some shit, or what?
No, that was just some punk asses fucking punk asses drive. They shot someone's dog and they shot me, and then they got caught.
Oh, wow.
So they got just dumb fucks. I think they did 6 months in jail, something like that. It's just stupid. Just I was playing hacky sack on my little brother's birthday, fucking in this parking lot, because like that's something we used to be able to do growing up in my town. Was, you know, we have all these shopping centers and shit, and we just sit around and play hacky sack at night in the parking lot. You know, everyone can see what you're fucking doing. No one gave a shit. No one's causing any trouble or anything like that. And they just drove by and popped and just caught me on the forearm. The calf was just being right out of range. Lucky, you know. That was able. We took that out. The knife, the same thing. I had to actually run on the knife, and that's about the most painful thing I've ever done. Run with the knife stuck in my thigh and knowing that I can't take it out yet.
Right.
But I have to run. It's like I have to make this run. And,
Jesus.
So yeah, but I got out from folding my legs in half at the knees. Like, had a guy land on me, and so my left knee my foot was in my chest, and the knee hyperextended, and the right foot was pointed to the sky. And so I've been able to avoid like a lot of physical therapy. Like, I did 6 months of inpatient physical therapy in the VA.
Man.
And learning to walk right again, because what had happened was I'd spent like, I don't know, 6 years of, you know, different I don't like to say mixed martial arts, but like my sparring partner was a Muay Thai training fighter, and I was learning Bondo, which is Burmese jungle fighting, and had been in those disciplines for like 6 years before the Marine Corps. Very fit, very, very fit. So it was just by luck of that like the ligaments went, but the tendons didn't. And so I've been able to hold my legs together that way, just by, like, I have to like walk and train sometimes. Like, I do a lot of squatting in my job, and so I have to do a lot of walking, like maybe a few miles every other day. And literally it's just a walk of getting my muscles to fire in the proper order, not to drive my kneecap into that area. So yeah, scarred. I'm heavily scarred, heavily battered. I truly believe I cannot be defeated. Like, I will bring a butter knife to your gunfight and not worry about it.
All right. So what would you say is the most useless talent you have?
Useless talents, man. Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know, probably streaming
Right.
videos because I'm not very successful with it.
All right, so here's two dice roll questions for you.
Okay.
All right, what is the most beautiful place you've ever seen?
Wow. You know, in college, like before college, I went to college after like 10 years after the Marine Corps, cooking shit. So I was like in my 30s when I did that. And I went to Seneca, which is like where, that's where Maryland is cut off by West Virginia, I think. You know where it kind of pinches off like that? And then you just got a wee little thing. Well, there's a peak right there that sets all that off. And sitting up there and just looking at, you know, the Appalachian, you know, mountain way, that whole landscape from that peak, like really, really made me, like, for one, really appreciate like the decisions I'd made to get me to that point, because I'd given up a lot of things that to a lot of people didn't, you know, it's real arbitrary why I made some of the decisions I made.
Right.
And to me, that meant everything. And it was like, you know, seeing that. And that, yeah, that's like, Alaska was really gorgeous too. That's a tough call. That's why I was like, kind of like going through my head, like Alaska, like Pop and Hop took me to Alaska for like 2 weeks, man. And it was beautiful. It was in the end of summer. So it was, you know, the warmest months up there. Was lots of light, you know, but it wasn't dark, really dark at night. You know?
Oh, yeah. I know it's beautiful up there, man.
Yeah.
A lot of land, man. There's a shitload of land out there. Oh, so in 40 years, what do you think people will be nostalgic for?
People.
That's an interesting phrase. A turn of events there. All right. So do you have a movie you can recite by heart?
Yeah, Hudson Hawk.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, me and my little brothers. I got two other brothers that are Marines. I was a Marine infantry and did like tactical training and shit.
Right.
My one brother was a sniper, a scout sniper, and he went in like after I went out. But we loved that movie growing up, and so like at 3 o'clock every day Eastern Standard, we sang "Swinging from a Star," no matter where we were. And I still do it to this day, and he still time to time gets caught doing it to this day.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, that's probably a movie I can just like straight up just like every fucking line. I love that movie. It's just a goofy movie. It's a fun, back when he was still fun.
All right, if you could know the truth, the absolute and total truth to one question, what would you ask?
What is natural flavoring really?
That's good. All right, and what's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Fuck, man. Miracle of duct tape, says Hop and Hop. Maybe that. You know what? My dad always like pushed us to be the best at what we could be at what we're doing.
Right.
You know, and if you do that, just be honest with yourself at all times, and you can say whatever you want, and then forget about what you even said, and you don't have to remember shit at all. Only, you know, and yeah, that's probably the best. About being honest with yourself like that from him, and really stressing that you know, it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be popular, but you know, and that's like, well, I'm a monarchist when it comes down to it, because you know, my faith really sits at the foot of everything, and you know, he's the King of Kings, and we say that Our Father, and it's, you know, it's the kingdom of heaven and his will in heaven as it is on earth. So if that's supposed to mean something, then maybe we're all fucking up, and that's why shit's so fucked up.
Maybe. I totally agree. All right, so this is the point in the interview where I ask you the famous James Lipton questions. Actually, he stole it from a French dude named Pivot. Yeah, but it looks like the word pivot, but it's Pivot, which is interesting because it kind of pivots the conversation as well. So, and this is kind of a rapid fire, kind of a, kind of say the first thing that comes in your head thing. It's like, what's your favorite word? That's a question.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
I just said.
Oh, word. Okay. All right, cool. What's your least favorite word?
Least favorite word, man. You know what? I don't even know that I passed, because that's the kind of like, I don't have that. I don't really like, if I don't like things, then I don't really give them time. So like least favorite of something would be like, for a word, I can't think of that just because of the function of words. Any word that's been manipulated is my least favorite word.
Right.
That. So, you want to talk about all the subversive words, things that we say mean now, that's not what they mean. Those are the ones that you don't hear me use. They're buzzwords ever.
Understood.
Probably why I come off as so harsh.
Indeed. And Object I Hate has the right idea. This is the point where if you have questions, go ahead and start putting them in, and make sure you put multiple question marks, so we'll know that. And we'll definitely address that. All right. So, all right, continuing with the Lipton questions.
Okay.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Genuineness, I guess. I don't know how to, like, I really like just really genuine things, and I don't know how to describe that other than like things that haven't been unself-aware people.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever met anybody who was really talented and didn't know they was really talented, and they
Oh,
shared
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
don't really have that's really, like, I really think my mom is underappreciated, and I think a lot of that's her own fault. She just stuck with her own little simple parish and stuff like that. She could have been like, had, I don't know how many YouTube videos made of her and her talents and stuff, but that's not what she was there for. And I got to keep that in mind too.
Crazy. That's
But
awesome.
That kind of just like, genuine, like, I'll never talk about like what my favorite like singers and stuff like that are, because most of them are unknown people, and I wouldn't want the people I run around with to be attending to her. You know what I mean? Like, nah, she don't need our bullshit. She won't understand and just think we're all monsters.
So, all right. So, what turns you off?
Ungenuine, just the polar opposite of that. Anything that's just like spat out there, cookie cutter shit. I really hate anything that's been dumbed down. Could I just say just nigger tiered? If it's nigger tiered, then I'm really not about it.
Okay. What's your favorite curse word?
My favorite cuss word is fuck. It's the most prolific and malleable word in the English language.
What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise? Hold on.
Nice.
Sir, would you do the honors, please?
All right. So, what sound or noise do you hate?
Like the I don't know. Like with rap music, where they have like where you'll hear it in a car, and it just sounds like rattling windows.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I just really kind of just that.
You and me both.
Like, as a guy that grew up in like class with people playing instruments where it was the instrument making a sound, and you had to like coordinate all that. And,
yes.
Like, get an appreciation for what it takes to do that. Just to have a guy put like this old, I just really like, I feel like a snob in saying that I've lived my life walking around like pitying the dumbing down and watching it happen real time, because I was sheltered from it. And it was just so apparent to me. Like the things that I've known growing up that were just like, I just knew this shit that like would blow people's minds and shit. It's like, this house, you know, and then you get into it, dig into it, and like, no one reads. No one reads just to read. No one reads like textbooks just to read them, just to learn something. It doesn't happen.
What sound or noise do you hate? Oh, we just said that, didn't we?
We just said that, yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry. What profession other than you I forgot where my place. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
You know what I've really wished, like growing up, like that I've kind of disappointed that I didn't do, was like be an excavator. Because I think like what those fucking people do is amazing. Like just with earth moving, building ponds, just doing like, you know, just if you've watched a professional, like a real professional, there's YouTube guys on there. It's just, I could just sit there and that's just like white noise to me watching that shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just trying to figure out like in real time of what they're doing, what the thinking is and the logic is, and, you know, and keep up with it. And as a geologist, I've done, you know, fluvial geomorphology. So, you know, I get what's going on like in a broad sense with what they're doing.
All right,
So,
what other profession other than your own would you not like to do?
Would I not like to do?
Yeah.
Like that you couldn't pay me to do?
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to be a social worker.
I hear you. All right, the final is, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, welcome home.
Yeah.
You did all right.
That's right.
You did all right.
All right, this is the question time, so I'm going to back it up over here and make sure because I think I'll go to the first set of question marks I see. And pineapple on pizza, heresy or ignorant degeneracy?
Pineapple's great on pizza. I'm from Ohio. We eat Hawaiian barbecue pizzas here. That's like a local thing.
Yeah, Object I Hate also wants to know how much vodka needs shipping to your local CVS to get the editing of.
Oh my God! So we've got this movie, okay, that like we've been trying to do this thing with movie night, and I'm just like an incompetent retard. So it's like I couldn't figure out how to make the English work, or I've got like I'm trying to splice together. Imagine that I'm taking the video from an Italian movie or something, and then I had to splice over and sync up with the voices on the face and everything, the English to that, okay, from an English version of that movie. All right. And then because I'm retarded and I didn't start our recording until a little ways into the movie, I've got to further splice our conversation on top of that and get the movie part in our movie to line up with that.
Oh, dude.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, God, yes. I've had to do, you know.
So now the problem is that in the making of the commentary section of it, that what I learned not to do it that way ever again was because it is it compressed or it's extended, one or the other, the filming of it kind of, so that like I can line it up now and then in 10 minutes it's going to be off by like, you know, 3/4 of a second.
Oh yeah, it's got.
So I have to keep going through and clipping and pulling back and clipping and you know, copying. Yeah. And making a secondary and pulling it back and then lining it up and then, you know, starting back over. And it's like this chasing your tail thing that yeah, I promised him I'd do it. And yeah, it's going to take some vodka because it's a nightmare.
All right. So Object I Hate wants to know, what is your least favorite military aircraft?
My least favorite military aircraft?
Mm-hmm.
The F-14.
I
really think that it was just a I just think it was just over
the whole variable geometry thing was just that was like a trend, and engineering.
I think that works with bombers because bombers don't have to do really the maneuvering and shit like that. But one problem that is with the F-14s that they didn't solve until the F-14s were already irrelevant was that the swept wings would draw themselves forward as the plane was running out of fuel so that they can make it home, shit like that. And so then you're not swept wing, you're kind of mid-wing. And, there was just all kinds of things that just weren't, and it was a great like interceptor, but that's all it could do. And it could only, there was really only like a 7-year window of where it was, considered a dominating. And it was always against kind of an inferior force, like its mission history against the Libyan forces. Those weren't really like that. Wasn't a symmetric fight.
I agree. I totally agree with that. All right, so let's see. What is your favorite painting?
I don't know the name of it. There was a painting at the Cleveland Metropolitan Art Museum of 2 girls. And it's, how like back in it's wanting to say it's a 19th, it's either early 19th or late 18th century. So it must have been because it's not an impressionistic. It's very one of those realists, and it's these 2 sisters, and it's like how like there's this picture of I guess it'd be Napoleon and like the expression on the horse and everyone, or George Washington with a horse that everyone's looking focused on. Well, with this, it's with these 2 sisters, and back in that time to be kind of plump was considered like preferable. And so the younger sister is kind of plump, and she's getting that treatment from everybody. She's even the center of the picture, and the older sister is kind of scrawny. And she's kind of shunned. Even the animal she's holding is looking at the other sister. And there's just, I don't know. It's a deep painting. I love anything like the Baroque period.
Right.
So like all of those, the royal, I'm a real big fan of the royal portraits that were sponsored through. I mean, it's kind of like fucking trend faggy to say that, I love the Renaissance and stuff, but for me, more specifically, like that Baroque period, once the masses started really learning the techniques of really, that craft.
Right, and let's see, I've got the. Would you eat a sauerkraut pizza?
Why not? Yeah,
I'd try it too.
Fuck yeah! With some sausage on it.
Mr. Scott, awesome. Yeah, that's the early question. Yeah, that was out there. When the brain implants become available, which one will you go for?
When the what?
Brain implants become available. This is an object I hate. Which one will you go for?
I guess I'll go for their neck brain implant, because if I can like stab that one, then it'll probably short out the whole thing, right?
There you go. All right, so
does that answer make sense? I guess I'd stab for the neck implant.
Do you have a favorite place to visit? State, country, city?
I love the ocean. I especially love New England Ocean, like up in there in the spring. Yeah, in the fall.
How long would it take for you to die if you permanently glued your butthole shut?
Wow, you know what? Well, with the wonders of modern medicine, you can bypass your butthole. So,
You definitely can bypass your butthole.
So, take that.
What's inside your butthole? Let's see. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Becca Fairley wants to know.
Mint chocolate chip.
And she also wants to know, do you have any strange collections?
I have a collection of rocks. I guess that's not strange, is it? No, I don't have anything that, like, I'm not like materialistic like that to where I get caught up in collecting things so much. Like, I've got some really, like, the things, if I looked at my whole thing as a collection, it's like, I've got this Ottoman rug that's 19th century that was the spoils of war from World War I've got an Islamic prayer rug that was a gift from a research partner.
Cool.
I've got a just shit like that. That's the real, like my R2D2 stand-up cooler.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
I
it's not. I
guarantee.
don't have like a lot of anything. I just like
Mm.
I really like just like I like that. I've got a lot of art. Okay, I've got a map collection and an art collection. You'd be surprised. Like I have 12-foot ceilings, and downstairs in like the hall, I have. That's not even on my maps, but I've got probably a 10-foot section of it covered in maps.
Wow.
Covered in maps. And
That's
I've got
cool.
enough to do them both. I've got you remember from the Ferris Bueller's Day Off? If you remember his bedroom, he had like a map of the world that was like the size of the wall.
Yes.
So I have 2 of those
Yes.
for when I finish my office. Because that accident where I blew up my hand, I was building my own office, and I was doing the construction on it, and the front on the face of it, and building in new shadow boxes. My building was built in 19th century canal side grocery store, and it used to have like the showcase fronts in the front. So I rebuilt those, and that's where the accident was happening. I was working like 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's why I had to do my own first aid. But trying to get work ahead of electricians and shit. That's why I get for working hard late at night, right? Trying to get ahead of work.
No shit. Well, all right,
But
so
I've got those maps for each side of the wall, so that you can sit on it, and it's like an 8-foot map.
dude, I'd like to see a picture of it when you're done. That'd be awesome. What? All right, so habanero or jalapeno?
Habanero's hotter. Actually, I like the flavor of habanero better than jalapeno.
I do too, man. It's like you have to like use it judiciously and a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, I agree the flavor. And I'm starting to like the flavor of scorpion pepper. So
I'm not sure I'm really familiar with it. What's the pepper that H made? Was that ghost pepper? Okay, so we have ghost pepper downstairs is what I cook with.
Oh yeah, that'll make your face disappear.
That's my norm. That's like, well, you have, like you said, you have to use it judiciously. I was a professional like culinary cook and chef for like 8-10 years between college and the Marine Corps. So I love chilies, making chilies and making stuff like making hot sauces. And
that's right.
Stuff like that. Like that's just, to me, that's just fun.
All right, what's the most recent book you finished reading?
Finished reading? Shit. Trying to think of the name of it. I guess, oh man, this is going to sound cheesy. Was the Marijuana Growers Manual. I guess if you say through and through, because I got like 2 of these manuals that I've got that I just keep around. It's more for other people to read, but I read them both, and that's literally the last full-length books that I've read back.
Nice.
Through. Because, textbooks, you never finish reading.
So are you growing some babies right now?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, my capacity is about 66 or so.
Wow.
Yeah. That's impressive.
What's your favorite time of day and why?
I love nighttime. I just love the quietness and everything. It's peaceful. All the normies are in bed and shit. It's only bad guys out. And but it's always peaceful.
If you could go back in time, where and when would you go and why? That is deep today. She's just throwing them out there.
Man, you know what? I'd probably just for the hell of it, I'd probably go back and see Charlemagne.
Oh, cool.
I'd want to see those first schools that he built because, he's the one who built the first education system across Europe. And I'd love to see those libraries and how that worked out. And,
No doubt, dude. Because they don't work like that now.
Right. When when you're starting out like that, you can't. There's no fat in it.
You have a meteorite?
Do I have a what?
Do you have a meteorite?
I have a meteorite. No, I don't.
All right, that was Don Beard to ask.
I got a craton, a piece of the craton that North America's built on. It's like 2.8 billion years old. And I got a piece of the vein because how that breaks, and then the quartz will grow in it. I got a giant, like 50-pound piece of quartz
So
from
Mis-
the vein that's got that rock embedded in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Scott Awesome says, do you have a pet rock? And I think we could say yes.
I got a bunch of pet rocks. I've got like 3 or 4 really special rocks, though. That's true. It's that one, the greenstone that everything's built on in North America, and the quartz that coincides with it. I've got I think it's about a 250 million year old. You know, I have to check that. I'm not really good on my fossil timing, but I could look it up. But it's 2 1/4 it's got like the trilobites and shit in it.
Nice.
That I've pulled from the ground. I've got a piece of the Seneca. I've a piece of this rock where I chucked off the top of that mountain, and so the next time the satellite passed by, the fucking map would be wrong. That's how you troll.
That's right. Trolling the government.
Yeah, that's how you troll. You troll cartography as you go knocking shit off the mountains.
Changing shit. That's funny. It's like how they used to punish Helen Keller. They rearrange the furniture.
And the famous words of Helen Keller.
Yeah. The old joke. Why she masturbated with one hand so she could moan with the other. You have a USB pet rock. What the fuck is that?
A USB pet rock?
Yeah.
Is that what you beat your computer with?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to explore that.
I don't know. Yeah. You'd have to explain that one to me.
What this one twitches later. All right. So would you somehow inject food coloring into your system to jizz the colors of the rainbow?
No. That's a hard no.
This is a hard no. All right, and moving on. All right, so because we're getting close to the top of the hour, I want to make sure we can. So we're back at YouTube asking questions. Who would you say is a criminally undersubscribed YouTuber on this corner of the universe?
On this corner of the universe?
Yeah, people we know and shit, hang out with.
I always want to say Insomnist.
Yeah,
like I love those guys. They've been doing it a long time. They put a lot of shit into it.
It's a labor of love, man.
I really do think that they don't get enough views because censorship's a bitch, But they've always been true to themselves, whether it was popular with the algorithms or not.
Exactly. So. I agree. I totally agree with that too. So, let's see. All right. So, who do you think is an overrated, overhyped YouTuber? Somebody.
Sinatra second channel for sure.
All of y'all said that. Oh man.
Sinatra second channel. Yeah.
So, all right. So, do you have anything new content wise that you want to talk about? Anything coming up, man?
Well, I guess I could plug Thursday nights. We do informative massacre porn, where we look at the different genocides of the world, and I'll make jokes and really inappropriate statements. But cool.
Yeah, but I like what you were doing. Okay, and I may have to rip your setup off to get away with more of this stuff on the comedy show. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've had a lot of my shit ripped off. Like I've been told many a times of my shit that I was doing that they've seen other people do in production. Like that was something I was doing anyway.
Hey, people rip you off, it means you're doing something right. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Failure tried to steal fucking Milk's Gone Bad. And he's like, I was more insulted that he did such a sloppy job at it because he was drunk than anything else. Mm-hmm. But Milk's Gone Bad got me hate speeched.
Really?
Yeah. If you're familiar with that game.
Oh, man. All right, so
I'm working on Not Pedo Cop, like the second thing for that, and that'll be the next big thing that I do personally. That's going to probably send me to my fucking couch for about 3 weeks when I'm done with it. But yeah.
Right, yeah, and so before we part, it's tradition to show your channel and present a final word for the chat.
Word. Loves and laws, and stay comfy, friends. And,
right, and
BUBONIC4U is everywhere. That's just BUBONIC4U at YouTube. BUBONIC4U, except for Twitter. I can't hang out there because I pissed off the Queen, and I can't hang out in live and Facebook either. Like they don't like me.
I totally understand. All right, so and the YouTube link will be put in on the All right, if you listen to this on YouTube, you'll be able to see it in the links.
Are we on YouTube?
No, I'll upload this to YouTube when I can.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I have it available for everybody.
Yeah, I was just confused there for a second because he was like from.
Yeah, no.
He's got a secret stream.
Susan's still anally reaming me, and she loves every second of it. But I'm. It's like a badge of honor at this point, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. I think I've racked up. I don't know, probably 30 some suspensions easily. I did 18 or 19 in a year in 2018. I think I got suspended 18 or 19 times. I had people sponsored like 12 different channels. Some of them got absolutely nuked. When I used Susan Jukowski's face as pasties on titties, that channel, every aspect of that got nuked from Google, the Gmail address, everything.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. All right, yeah, the Sulag, LAG. It's SULAG, Sulag. That's where you go when Susan wants you to go away for a week. That's right.
My account is theirs probably as much as it is not, man. I mean, for real. Like they've stacked them on me to where as soon as I'll get off of one suspension that day, they'll like hit me with another one.
Exactly.
They did that for 9 months.
All right, so a final word for the chat, who has been awesome. Thank you so much for showing up on Twitch, guys. I really appreciate that. You know, bearing with me on my eternal struggle with YouTube and trying to, you know, have integrity and do my thing, because this is the hill I'm willing to die on.
The struggle's real, bro.
Exactly. I totally agree.
It's a righteous fight. Like I said, my first and foremost, like of anything online is censorship.
Indeed.
And censorship. And if you look at the base of everything I'm doing,
it's antithetical to everything I was brought up believing, man. You know,
absolutely.
You know, and any of these motherfuckers that claim to be Americans that try to flip that shit around, they can kiss my ass, they can go to hell, and they can, you know, whatever.
Treason has become acceptable somehow.
Yeah, no shit, dude. And on that note, I think we let's call it. This has been a great show. You've been a great guest, dude.
Well, thank you, man. I was kind of self-conscious there for a while, like rambling on and getting.
No, you do. You know, this is great. I had a great time, man. Yeah, it's
I
like
loved it, man. I appreciate it. It was a good time.
Thanks. You know, I had a ball. Like I said, we'll go into this room real quick, and I still love the picture you sent me for the poster for the teaser.
Oh
yeah.
Sophie Rack made that for me.
That's awesome, man. That's all. You know, it fits you to
now,
the
now
team.
check this out. Now on my show, what I do is I actually run 2 of these, and on one of them, I've taken all of the screen out of the laptop that I'm carrying. And so whatever I'm showing on the screen, I'll show that in that laptop because I've got that shown, and I'll put the, you know, like the YouTube video down in there too. So if you're watching, it's got the YouTube video playing like in 2 different corners, and that's what that is.
Sweet. All right, man. Well, I'm out of questions, and I think this is a perfect time to wrap it. Right at 2 hours. This has been a treat for me. True ice cream. My favorite flavor of this week is known as BUBONIC4U. And chat, BUBONIC, give them some words, and then we'll split.
Chat, you know I loves and loves you, and like all of my work and live streams has always included chat on the stream for that reason, man. I'm a people of the chat, so you're my peoples, and I love you, man. You're like, just stay comfy. That's all. Just everything's going as planned. Stay comfy.
Thanks, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow on YouTube. I don't know.